Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with Diva D. How you doing? And honor what Mother Wendy. Well. I'm just gonna say this. Piping hot tea has been piping hot. Are you ready to get your tongue burnt? Are you ready? Come on in. Come on in. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell button so you can be notified when I upload a video. Now, we just gonna have a little conversation. And I'm just gonna drop my opinion. Everything is alleged in my opinion. And I'm just gonna drop my opinion on certain topics. Now, sometimes I will read from an article, but I'm gonna do that too, but not on everything. See, sometimes I read from an article on everything in the piping hot tea, but right now, I'm just going to talk about some topics that came across my Insta, as the people on TV say, to keep from, shelling out those advertising dollars. First of all, let's talk about Dr. Wendy. To you, sweetie. Osefo. Look, just let me tell you something right here. Wendy's home was burglarized. Okay? And I don't just want to talk about her home being burglarized. I want to talk about the hate that I have seen on social media for this woman who was a victim of something. Right? Wendy was out of town, minding her own business. And then this a-hole robber breaks into her home and steals her things because they didn't want to go out and earn money and pay for things. See, that's how I think of robbers. Bitch ass motherfuckers who rob people. I think of them as people who don't want to get out there and earn what they see the next person has. You earned it. You bought and paid for it. But hey, why not just come into your home and steal it? Why not just come into your home and take something that you earned and worked hard for? That's what I'll do. And maybe Wendy is stronger than I am, but I don't want that negative spirit. I don't want her to say anything like this. This is Diva D talking, okay? I won't want that negative energy or spirit remaining in my home. I probably would have to move. Now, in the position that I'm in now, because I inherited my home, I don't know, because the home has sentimental value. But at the same time, when I was robbed and my personal belongings were taken, I was not present when I was robbed, but I saw the individual who sat down in my car, broke my window, and stole my things out of my car, right? I had an ex-boyfriend from the Shy. Shout out to the ex-boyfriend from the Shy who taught me a lot of things about hood, the hood, and how hood people think. Because I was green, right? Green from the South, little bitty town. Then I ended up dating a guy from Chicago. Night and day. But we meshed well together in the relationship as far as him turning me. What's the opposite of green? I would say red, right? Turn me red. Put me up on game for a lot of things. And so he always said, if you're going to leave your purse in the car, always put it under the seat. Never put it in the glove compartment because that's going to be the first place they look. Get to my car, glove compartment open. Right? Even though I had my purse on me. This particular night, I was late for a job interview. I was on my way to a job interview, and I was late for that job interview. And I didn't turn on the internal alarm. I just locked the doors. Right? Big mistake. So as I'm coming out of my job interview, this could have turned out very differently. I'm seeing the individual leave my car, right? So I said all that to say I definitely know what it feels like to be violated. And every time I got in my car, all I could see is this person sitting in my seat. Because I had to pretend like I didn't see him, right? I just called the cops. So I saw him jump out my car. I went back in, said my car was robbed. A bunch of fellows in there. None of them did anything for me. That's how I knew that the males were changed. Because a man like my father would have escorted me to my car and then made sure that the person was gone before I went anywhere. Even one of my best guy friends was in there. One of my best guy friends from college. So, oh, you okay? He came up to me and did that part. But he didn't walk me to my car. So that's, like I said, that's how I knew things was changing. And this was in the early 2000s. So said all that to say, I know she probably won't move. This is probably a house in the upward six figure to $1 million range. So I know she's not moving, but I definitely got rid of that car. Every time I got back into that car, I felt the spirit of that person who had robbed me. So I just hope that this all turns out and works out in Wendy's favor. And when I say social media is a mean place, I have been riding for Dr. Wendy all day. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't have opinions about stuff. You can have your opinions about her personality. But to say that's karma, it's this one chick in particular who kept saying that it was karma. And I was like, karma, how? Have you watched the show? And I'm like, what has she done that was so awful that you would celebrate her home getting robbed? Because that's what that is. When you use karma for anything other than also the good you put out, you will get back. When you use karma only for the negative, you're saying that you are happy that happened. Even though you're not saying those words, that's just like Giselle insinuating that somebody made her go into the room. But I thought I was going to break this up by order of importance, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac clip. They released a sneak peek, and a lot of times when they release sneak peeks on the Real Housewives of Potomac, those sneak peeks end up being the best part of the show, right? So I watched sneak peek. Sneak peek came to my Twitter. So I don't know if I should give Twitter this or not, but it's just on my For You feed. So I'm just going to talk about it real quick. I saw the green-eyed demon, number one, Big Sister Gorgeous one. That would be Giselle, No Man Bryant. I don't have a man either, so, but it don't bother me. So I remember I told you in the last video, it bothers her. She wants somebody because these other two dark-skinned women have a man, and it's supposed to be me, like I said. But if it's not me, what I'm going to do is do anything in my power to ruin what they have. Right? That's what demons and imps do. Shout out to Candace. So I said all that to say, all these women are supposed to be Christian. Am I correct? Especially the former first lady. Uh-huh. That's why I tell you, religion about as worthless as a $3 bill. I'm just saying, my opinion. But anyway, because it teaches you everything, but you never retain the knowledge that you learned from that good Christian doctrine or any of the rest of it. for that matter. Because some of these religions put women in such a subservient role that even when she's molested, she's the blame. Or even when she aped, she's the blame. I can't get with nothing like that. Period. Dot, dot, dash. Said all that to say, sitting up there treating these women like they're not in the same religion, and one is in the same sorority you in. Sat up there, lied through your mother-sucking teeth, and said, I feel, okay, this is what she tried. Here she is with the feelings again, right? Mind you, she wasn't at the party. I feel that Wendy is to blame, Kiana is to blame, Candace is to blame, and then finally Deborah. So Wendy asked, how am I to blame? Right? Then she says, well, maybe not you. So she finally had to take Wendy out of a negative equation. And that's when Candace says, then how am I to blame? Then they start talking about how she picked up the bottle. And then she said, you called her vermin. So Candace's defense was, no names were called until she walked up in my face and lunged at me. I had the right to defend myself, and I felt like picking up the bottle was justified. Then Andy asked her, would you have hit old Harry Scary with the bottle? She said, I don't know what I would have done. You see what I'm saying? This right here lets you know that this young lady is unprotected. And so she said it. I'm unprotected. I'm by myself. I don't have anybody to fight for me. And she does. I am so glad that Mama Dot has the financial stability that she has so she can help, even if Candace never comes back to this job, so she can help Candace be okay and get back on her feet for whatever she is. Because let's not minimize Miss Candace, okay? That's not what we're gonna do. She's a title holder. She has, of course, generational wealth, but we're gonna leave that out. We're gonna make her on her own, unlike Ashley right now, since Ashley was, riding her for being a generational wealth kid, right? Miss Under the Bridge. Let's put Candace on her own. Let's let Candace live off her royalties from her album. Let's let Candace live off her royalties from her show and her Christmas movies. Take all that away and say she didn't have any money remaining. Young lady has a MBA. I'm pretty sure she can use that for something. So, that being said, I am the most proud that this young lady has decided to chunk up the deuces. Now, let me just say this. Word on the street is that Carlos King has been, talking out the side of his neck to Miss Teddy Mellencamp over there with the Caucasian people. Okay? So we do act different. We have code switch and all this good stuff when we get around the Caucasian people, especially here using this type of business and whatnot. Now, I saw an article, and I just don't believe this article is true, but I hope it's not. Because to us, when he's speaking to his majority black audience, he's saying that Candace was done wrong. He didn't like the way Candace was treated. Speaking to Teddy Mellencamp, he said, housewives don't quit. Now, speaking to Dr. Heavenly in that audience, he's saying that he believes that she did leave on her own, right? Maybe due to pregnancy or maybe even due to the pressure that she felt on the show. But over there, He's saying that she probably got fired. Whatever the decision was in this case, I'm glad it was made for her sake and her mental health. Carlos, I got some words for you at the end when I talk about Miss Winter Harris. Okay? So, moving right along, we talk about Caitlyn's response. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I am not a huge fan and never was a huge fan of OJ after the Earths, okay? After I found out that he said he wasn't black, he was OJ, right? So the juice got squeezed. We all know that, and he passed away. But Caitlyn Jenner's response in the public was very kind of scathing, wasn't it? Knowing that this person in the trans community who is a Trump supporter, but is a contradiction since Trump is totally against anything trans. So it's kind of weird that he's up in his butt, literally and figuratively. That's my opinion. That's neither here nor there. But the thing said, and I'm not calling Caitlyn a thing because she's trans. We got to get over the sensitivity. I call people a thing to keep from cussing sometimes. Sometimes I might say my children. Thing one, thing two. So let's clarify. But anyway, that thing got on Twitter and said good riddance. Well, somebody is going to miss him. Somebody going to miss the juice. It may not be you. It may not be the family of the Goldmans. But these are children, from my understanding, that I know you know. I know you know, even though his children are grown. I know you know these children because you admitted that you were around them, being that your ex-wife, the pimp, the head Kardashian in charge, who is responsible for that clan over there. That's a whole different story. But the pimp was best friends, if I'm not mistaken, with Nicole. So being that they were best friends and the children played together and whatnot, was you thinking of sitting in and Justin when you made that statement? I don't think you were. What if somebody came out and said that trans should be, or we're glad that trans person has passed away because that's not what God created? Isn't that what a lot of people say when they judge trans people? The main thing they say is that's not of God. God created what you were supposed to be. Well, not necessarily, seeing as how when you're in the womb, you start out with, since you're in a woman, you start out as a woman. But that's neither here nor there. So maybe you just going back to what you were in the womb. Nobody looks at it like that. Okay? Because patriarchy has you thinking male, everything is male. No. It is definitely the reverse in the womb. You're being carried by a woman. Now, move right along from Caitlyn Jenner, um, whatever she wants to be called at the time, because like I said, she is definitely a trans Republican woman, and trans woman and Republican just don't go together. But Bruschetta's whole life is a contradiction, isn't it? That's neither here nor there. Moving right along. Kenya is confirmed. She's confirmed to be returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. More Atlanta news. Falynn has been making her way around the news circuits, and that's Falynn Pina Gubadia, the former wife of Mr. Simon Gubadia, if that's his real name. She has reversed that thing, and she's giving Portia Gubadia the same thing that Portia Gubadia gave to her. Miss Falynn is talking real greasy now, right? Is anybody surprised that they're getting a divorce? We knew that was coming. Well, you had a 2-year shelf life too. But what we may have not known, which we all suspected, right, is that Portia Gubadia was allegedly messing with Simon Gubadia for a whole entire year. But now, if you don't think that's snake behavior, then I don't know what snake behavior is. So if they had been messing around a whole entire year, that little act that they pulled, like they had just met at that lady pool when she was smoking her hookah and took her man and drinking her Chardonnay. Because she went in the house and drank that Chardonnay at that whack-ass party that Falynn had. Now, imagine you, Falynn is a horrible hostess, right? She was a horrible hostess during this event when she should have been getting into it with Portia Gubadia. It was indeed LaToya who took the brunt of Falynn's energy, right? Falynn should have been chasing Portia Gubadia with that boy. And I don't condone violence. All I'm saying is you saw her clearly chasing poor LaToya with that golf club. And it was Simon, the former Simon, who did not have his teeth in his head that made him look better. That had to literally wrestle a golf club out of her hand. She was Medusa. There was Portia Gubadia sitting at that lady's table, eating her sparsely served food. I think it was just cookies and crab cakes, honey. And she said, whoa, I don't know what's going on, but she left a snake there on the floor. Little did she know the snakes were not only in her head, but in her table. But Mrs. Falynn says that Portia don't want to see her in the streets. Now, I don't know how this is going to go, because Portia is a very violent individual, allegedly. Even though we did see her fight several people on Real Housewives of Potomac. That's neither here nor there. But, baby, get out your cameras and your camera phones. If you see this particular piece of violence occur, please dip down in my inbox, down to the Twitter, and let me know, or Instagram, where I am I'm Queen D 41 on Instagram. Drop down in the inbox and let me see the footage. Move right along. The talk show, The Talk, has been canceled. It is a brand new day. Now, I had long since stopped watching The Talk when Jerry O'Connell entered the building. Now, Jerry O'Connell would have fit perfectly over there on Regis and CATLIN, but they never did pick him for that show. I stopped watching Regis and CATLIN because they didn't pick him for that show. You really, Kelly and Michael. Right? So, not Kelly and Michael Strahan, but finally, her husband, Michael, got the job. Is his name Michael? That sexy Latino man. I know his name was Mateo on All My Children. That's where they met, by the way, over there on All My Children. I'm going to say Mateo. It's an M. Mark Consuelo. So he finally got the job, which I honestly believe that Jerry O'Connell would have been a better fit for that job. Then Wendy Williams also tried to get him his own show, and that failed. But after 15 seasons and 33,000 hosts, the talk has been canceled. A lot of people say it's due to the departure of Miss Sharon Osbourne, but she did make some racist rhetoric on the show. Can't do that. My understanding is the show was started by Miss Sarah Gilbert, and it was supposed to, talk about women, busy mothers. That's what the show, because we were supposed to have talks, right? Then they squeezed out of that and went away from it because, they were saying that Miss Holly Robinson Peake was boring. So they shifted the game and they added men to the show. It just became outrageously ridiculous. So, goodbye to talk. And with me, I hate to see anything get canceled when people lose an extra check. But from my understanding, all these people on that stage were already rich, honey. So they should be straight going forward. Cheryl still has her stand-up comedy career, and the Klutz girl probably is going to go back to Broadway. She got those dancer legs, Jerry could just live off Rebecca. Just jokes, people. Just jokes. He can't act. Okay, just jokes. And he does other hosting gigs. And the football player, where he can live off his retirement. Move right along. I never learned how to pronounce the football player's last name. Forgive me. And move right along. We're going to talk about Mr. Jeezy. And now this is going to round out this Piping Hot Tea segment. Jeezy, your mistake is to get with a woman when you with a dog meat on the side anyway. Okay? This is Jeezy and Jenny Mai. Right? But did Jenny Mai, shout out to Erica Daniro, think her dining experience was going to be different? Surely she did not. But she did. She married Jesus punk ass anyway. But no. We can't blame this all on Jeezy now, can we? Because every time, even when she was a married woman, to her white meat up front, not on the side, the one that was the main course, she was flirting with that dog meat on the side. Go back and look at the videos. She always wanted her some young Jeezy. Old Jeezy now, if you will. But old Jeezy is trying to take that lady's baby. A lady who clearly works just as hard as he does. Works just as hard at her hosting as he works at, what does he do again? I don't think I know one Jeezy song. I don't think this woman should be without her baby at all. 0%. F you, Jeezy. Okay. Quick, let me throw in to forgot this. So I'm gonna, and it may end up sounding funny because I'm adding at the end of the first Piping Hot Tea video that I just did. But I just watched Queen Sheba's video interviewing Winter Harris. And I thought I should get on here and talk about it since I am a big fan of Winter. And I actually rolled for her on the show. And I became a fan of hers. And she became a fan favorite. And let me tell you why. A lot of the reason why she became a fan favorite is because her best friend that introduced her to the show was, she actually threw on the bus. Now, baby, when I tell you Winter was honest, Winter dropped some tea. Shout out to Queen Sheba. I'm giving her credit. I think I did say that I watched the interview and I wanted to, pull out some talking points myself and bring it to my subs on my channel. Okay. A lot of my subs also sub to other subs. I know that. Other content creators. But you subscribe to me to see my opinion, right? So My opinion on the matter, like I said, I always liked Winter, okay? And I liked her even when the Go to Barbies didn't like her. Now, we come to find out that Winter did feel ganged up on. I mean, she handled herself with the utmost of grace, didn't she? Now, I didn't like Monique before. I know I said it before when I first started doing Love and Marriage DC, recapping it. I never liked Monique after the fight on Potomac. Well, it finds out that Monique kind of finessed Winter. Winter was supposed to appear on the show with her husband, Kevin. And when things went awry, Winter said she was honest with the producers and she said, I want to back out because things are not going well with me and my husband. That wasn't respected, and Monique talked her into coming on the show at least as a friend. My observance on that is that Winter, I think you should have turned down the offer anyway. But she said that she appeared on the show for that scene when Monique was doing her opening, just to support her for that opening. And then when she got into it, Ashley, I think that probably sparked something in Carlos to make her want to stay. Also, she doesn't feel protected on the show. And when that comes about, of course, that makes me think of Candace. Now, my understanding is that Winter and Candace are good friends. And when you don't feel protected by your producers and they do things to manipulate the show to make you seem like you're the villain, yeah, I think it's time to go. I will hate to see Winter not appear on the show. I think she gives the show balance now that she was able to redeem herself and show us that she really is a nice person. That's all she really wanted, was to redeem herself. And she said that the way they edited in order to protect the men on the show, the way they edited the reunion, it was really in reverse. I knew some things looked like they were out of place. I did notice that Chris was the only person who had her back, which she admitted that. And that's quite embarrassing for Monique. But I tell you, Monique is known for throwing people under the bus. She's just what she is. By the way, Monique was over there talking about how it was her turn. She knew it was her time to leave when they didn't protect her when JEZZY threw her little fit on the show. And she was, cussing people out. And of course you couldn't let Big Sister Gorgeous want to be seen doing all that. Not losing it, not keeping that same composure that she holds when her nose is in the air and that neck is and that neck is, that head is sunk down in that neck. No, you can't show Big Sister Gorgeous one doing all that. So it's very unfortunate that Monique didn't have the good sense to keep her hands to herself. Because even if she had left the show, she and Candace could have bonded again over this moment. This moment that they are both having. Same thing with Winter. Winter is determined to leave. She says that she's not bound by contract. Carlos says she is. Carlos also said that they were having a brunch where all the ladies were attending. She said that's not set in stone. When I tell you there is some sinners being crossed here. And then she talked about the pay. I never thought that anyone on, and I don't know who could have possibly thought this, but everyone knew that even on Bravo shows, you start off with a base salary, usually from anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500, $1,500 to $2,500 per episode. That's known across the board. Even Nene started with that. So I don't know what she means by we don't have the Bravo budget. I guess meaning that, you know, with all your years that you put in, you don't go up like they do on Bravo. Because, you know, those girls can sometimes make anywhere, once they get established, from $500,000 to $1 million per episode. So, I mean, per season. Because you get paid by the episode on Bravo. But back to Winter and the pay. Now, she tried to explain that, you know, she knew that the pay wasn't that great. It's more of a marketing tool. Yes, it is. But I understand her leaving because, like, if you're only pulling in anywhere from the most you can get is 160,000 views, you know, and you don't feel like you're being treated right, and then you feel like you're being attacked by a particular cast member. And when she says that she feels like she's being attacked by a particular cast member, and she did not say his name, and I think it's Jamie. Well, I'm going to use a process of elimination. If people don't know that it's Jamie, then I don't know who else it could be by process of elimination, in my opinion. You have Black, and she is on Black's side. You have Yusha, which at the time Yusha was her man. Then you have the Silvers. She's getting along with them. It can only be between Cliff and Jamie. And Jamie is the person who I see going back and forth with her the most on Twitter. So by process of elimination, I think she's talking about Jamie. And she throws shade at the fashion darling. She says, I don't have to go to Shein to shop. But baby, I have to say on that right there. Now, she did admit Arena looks good if she's talking about Arena. If she is borrowing clothes and shopping at Shein and all that good stuff, to me, if you could put those pieces together and make yourself look like you wearing $1 million clothes, then hey, I'm good with that. Because that's exactly, once she got you on that, honey. If she is wearing knockoff pieces, she wears them well, I gotta give it to her. Now, I give that to her because I don't, you know, just dislike Arena. I mean, she seems messy on the show. But, you know, the show won't work without a little mess. You know, you have to have your mess starter. And she talked about the same thing that I talked about. I mean, it's the same issue. I felt like Terry was brought by Arena and fed the information from Joy's Good Judy, honey. I stand on that. I stand on that. I stand on the belief that Arena was the one who fed her the information. But, you know, Winter said she's not really dealing with Terry in that way because in her Christian mind, you know, Terry, even though she's an intuitive, honey, they don't have anything to do with witchery. In her opinion, she kind of teeter-totters in the realm of witchery. Child. Ooh, these scared Christians. Missing out on all good therapy and all good relaxation techniques because of fear. Right? I'm not going to get into that. That's neither here nor there. I still like Winter. And I've always said that I like most people on the show. Sometimes I don't agree with everything that everyone does on the show. But I don't think the show can work without Winter. Sherella has confirmed that she's not coming back. And I don't really think Carlos cares that Sherella's not coming back. But in my opinion, to round this thing off about Winter, I really think that Carlos destroyed the show. According to Winter, It is her opinion, and this is not guaranteed, and this is my opinion going along with her. She says that she believes that once Monique left, Carlos lost interest. He didn't have anybody to prop up anymore. Wouldn't it be good if, and twisted, if once Winter leaves, he brings in Candace? Hey, you better think about that, Los. You might not be able to afford Candace, though, even though you've been talking about her behind her back, I believe, so they say. Down to the Teddy Mellencamp show. I don't know, because I wouldn't dare listen to Teddy Mellencamp or anything else she had to say after she talked about my good friend, Dr. Wendy Osefo. So, you know, she's on my it list. So, I don't give a damn what she has to say. But, that's neither here nor there. With that, I'm going to close. I'm going to chunk them up. Deuces. Now, you may hear me say I'm going to close twice, but I'm going to try to trim that out, edit that out of the video, and because I just added this in to the other Pipe Hot Tea, because, yeah, I just watched Miss Winter on the Queen Sheba show. And, by the way, shout out to Queen Sheba for getting those interviews. She got that good interview with Martell. Baby, she been getting them ever since. And I don't consider Queen is up there with the Lovely Teas and the Tasha K's and the Storm Monroe. She's not up there, but she's not where I am. You know, she's bigger than I am, but at the same time, I consider her mid-level. And to be getting these big interviews, shout out to her. And when I say I don't agree with a lot of things that she says, I don't agree with a whole lot of things that Queen Sheba says, because it's so skewed towards melody. Even when melody is wrong, okay? They find a way to make melody right. And that kind of turns me off. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. However, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome to be getting these big interviews, and I learned a lot from this interview. And like I said, I like to me, she'd be missed. Nobody has done anything on that show like the Real Housewives of Potomac to not make me want to watch it. I still want to see it. I still want to see what the dynamic will be if, you know, Winter leaves and she breaks her contract, and, you know, she and Carlos have to go to court. I don't know how that's all going to work. Hopefully Carlos gets into his head that if she doesn't want to stay, to let her go. But, you know, it might be some issues with On on it. And even though On don't have Bravo budget, and she says that she makes a whole lot more money, you know, outside of this show, six figures or better, even without child support and alimony, she still can't fight On. Because On is backed by Discovery. And Discovery money is probably just as long as Bravo money. If not the same, right up there. Okay? So that might not be a fight you want to have if it's a contractual agreement between you. I'm just saying. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to close. As I do when I close, I'm going to chalk them up. Deuces. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button so you can be notified when I upload a video.